23 Moonwalker, Goku, Vampy's, Crypto Van Trader, 1466.46 or something, Chocolate, Orange Nijo, RR9, Envy, Klaya, 23 Moonwalkers, Tempois, Nicola, Bo, thank you very much for the tier 1 subscription. King and Burr, I'll promise you in like 3 hours when I'm stopping to stream, I will be putting on the music again on loud volume. Oh man, I'm hyped today. I'm really in a trading mood, teaching mood. I've been teaching at university today for the last time that I needed to. So my university career is done for the year. I'm a full-time trader right now. So if you guys have any questions today about origins, about failures, about any PA questions that you have, prepare your charts and ask anything you want. Of course, I'll be first doing some regular Bitcoin update today. And then after that, you guys can take over the session with your questions. If there are no questions, we will be trading. Today, I actually didn't look too much on Bitcoin. As I told you guys, I am actually focusing on my FTMO. And I did a lot of euro-dollar today. We will be going over euro-dollar trades so you guys can see what kind of trades I take. Sometimes I take wide stop losses. Sometimes I take a little bit of slighter, tighter stop losses, you know. We always love it tight, right? Sometimes. So let's start this one off and do the Bitcoin update. Like on Bitcoin, we are kind of accumulating, kind of distributing. But let's start the BTCU and let's get this one rolling. So for Bitcoin, what was I actually looking for? Because we had this big pump, this was actually the only, like this red candle was actually the only retrace I was looking for. Right now, Bitcoin for me is in a no trading zone. What do I mean with a no trading zone? We did the squeeze. Right now, price has just been squeezing, and that's where I do not like to take my trades. So now I'm basically waiting up. You were able to take some longs. Your shorts probably are stopped out, but we can go over the progression of what I would actually look for shorts. Let's have a quick glance. Okay, it's like, funnily enough, it's actually starting to look decent for shorts, dependent how much progression we're gonna get. 12 minutes left until this candle is gonna close, and then we can see. So this was actually the long that I was talking about. We sweep the origin, we still hold it beautifully right there. We will be doing a lot of origin talk later today, so how you can actually analyze origins, how you can know what an origin is, what a failure is, and which will be important at what moment in time. Other than that, as I said, I'm basically waiting now. We're currently squeezing, but to be honest, it's starting to get interesting for shorts again, but then again, we're trending up. So let's talk a little bit about what I'm expecting for Bitcoin. To be honest, not a lot has changed in my eyes. I was talking to some clients and just some people as well. I think I even told you guys last time, and what I'm actually looking for on Bitcoin is a big pump. I was kind of hoping we would get this move down. I'm still kind of waiting for this move. This is level to hold, so 19,000, 20,000. If we even go lower, 18,000 is on the schedule as well. But my preferred thing to do will actually be going all the way up and even touching this bottom side right here. This is what I kind of honestly want. You have this beautiful 10SK right there. If we can gain the bottom side of this 10SK, you guys should know by now what I'm looking for. If we can go all the way up this 10SK, kind of achieve the bottom side, still reject it, look for shorts, then I'm looking for a nice move down into the higher low. This is my dream scenario that I'm looking for. If this is what we're getting, then I will be looking to buy a lot of spot as well. Now, yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. Personally, I hope we can get a little bit higher on Bitcoin. If we cannot, no problem at all. But my belly, my tummy is telling me, yeah, we will probably go a little bit higher. So for that reason, if you do not know what to do right now, what you should wait for is, in my opinion, wait for progression. The trades, you were able to take the trades already. People that come here more often, they know that I like to say that it's currently a non-trading zone for me. That means that the trades already should have been placed. You were able to take the long right here. You were able to take this long, in my opinion, as well. And you were able to take this short there as well. They were all good shorts. I can go into them deeper later on after my Bitcoin update is done, but I think I'm kind of done with the Bitcoin update, so let's end it right now. So you're saying it's okay if you can explain the 10SK? Sure, I can explain the 10SK perfectly if you want to. So what does a 10SK actually, what's a 10SK actually? A 10SK is basically a block. Now a block The hardest thing to do with the 10SK is to actually define the block, but we will be going over a lot of 10SK examples today. But let me explain it on the one I just showcased in the actual Bitcoin update example, right? So let's say the price, we will be doing this over and over again in the session, because what I want you to learn if you want to become a profitable trader, the things you have to do is actually do things over and over again in a systematical way. Now, the 10SK is perfect for actually learning how the environment works that you're trading in, right? So the 10SK, in my opinion, works best on the 1 hour, 4 hour, and even the daily. So let's go over this 10SK right here. Let's say the Bitcoin pumps all the way up, and we do not reject the bottom side of the 10SK. Maybe let me go over why I pulled it like this. When I'm pulling a 10SK, or when I'm like drawing a rectangle on a 10SK, I'm always looking at the low and the high slash failure. Now this zone doesn't really matter, but I'm always looking at the failure. If the failure is way too low, I'm looking at the high. So it's a little bit discrepancy right there. Now what you're looking for, very simple, very easy, is just if price manages to get within the block and achieves the bottom side, and we can close there 2 times, this is a meaning that we're actually looking for a higher low play on the impulse that brought us there, right? So if we achieve the bottom side of the block, this means no matter where you go, you're still looking for a higher low, higher than the origin. So if you want to know when you can actually buy the top range of an origin, one of the giveaways that I can give you is you should look, did you achieve a block? If you achieve the block, it's higher probabilities that you can actually buy the origin high range. If we reject the bottom side of the block, the chances are more likely that we will actually sweep the origin move, okay? So what happens if we actually go to the mid, hold the bottom, and go to the top? If we do something like this, there are 2 options. You will either hold the midline of the block, so right there. So I'm looking at the price action as well. What's the bottom side of the origin that made us go lower? So the midpoint is never always the exact midpoint, but you have to look at the price action as well. So this, in my opinion, will be the midpoint zone. If we touch the top side, or even better, if we achieve the top side, you can look for lower time frame plays on the midsection of your 10SK. So if we then hold the midsection, now becomes one of the most important rules of the 10SK. You want to re-achieve the previous highs. You don't care about this. You want to re-achieve the previous highs. If you cannot re-achieve previous highs, this is going to mean you will be going to the bottom side of the block. But let's just think a little bit about the psychology of this play. Let's just say that we are rejecting previous highs. What do you then want to do? You want to make a loss of the move to the high, because everybody knows, like even my grandma knows it after Christmas dinner. She said, like, you know, Scholar, if you lose the move to the high, you should short it, right? It's that easy. That's what you talk about. So let's say there's a move to the high right here. You go back down, you lose it. And look, where do you come now? You're coming back to the bottom side of the block. Now that you're at the bottom side of the block, in my opinion, this is the safer trade to take. The only downside to taking the safer trade right here, now maybe a tip on how you can take it. If you're taking it, you should always look for a static stop loss. Now, what do I mean with a static stop loss? In this case, I would look, okay, so 2% for me would be decently. It's still already quite sharp, knowing that you're looking at the daily, but 2% should be decent. So what I'm looking for on higher time frames is always looking for a 1% static stop loss or a 2% static stop loss. Now, I was talking about this being more like a safer trade, but the downside to it being a safer trade is that it actually has a lower R. Now, why does it have lower R? Because you're actually playing a move that brings us to the retest in a bearish environment. So whenever you're at the bottom side, you want to take a PT at the mid. Why? Because remember, this is the bottom side of the move to the high. If you reject the bottom side of the move to the high, what you will probably get is a new low into our origin. Now, don't forget, what did we achieve? We achieved at least the bottom side of the previous 10SK. So what are you looking for? You're looking at least for a higher low. So this is going to be one of my perfect examples that I really want to look forward to for Bitcoin to do. If they don't do it, no problem at all. Because what do we have here? we kind of have the same structure locally. Bottom side, top side. So what did we actually do right now? Let me not extend it to the right. We went all the way to the top and are now trying to achieve it. If we cannot achieve it, no problem. No problem at all. Where will I be looking for longs is actually not here, but actually there. Midpoint. What's the move that made us go to the top within this block? It's this move. You're always looking at moves that did certain things. You're always looking for moves that did certain things. Previous origins, previous failures, etc, etc. So, if we now go down, the higher probable play, in my opinion, price action wise, would be there. But remember, I'm probably not going to limit it. The only thing I'm going to limit is the low ends of the zone. Because you know what? Let's be honest. Some of you guys, let's say that you would take the mid of the trade. Where would your stop loss be? Where would my stop loss have been? This is the only way that I figured this out, right? Of course, it's thanks to Skinner as well, because Skinner always said, you know, if you get stopped out a lot, there's one rule you should do. Place your entry at your stop loss. And I was always like this, man, this makes no sense. Why would I place my entry at my stop loss? But look at this. Where is my stop loss? This is where you guys put your stop loss, right? Now, it's a lot easier. You can just put your entry at your stop loss, buy the low of the wick, buy where there's a lot of liquidity creation, put your static stop loss there, and take a trade something like this, right? That would be a lot safer than taking the mid. Now, that doesn't mean that we cannot hold the mid, but at the mid, you more often want to look for lower time frame accumulations and then take lower time frame trades to the high end again of your 10SK. Okay, so I hope that kind of helped, Mr. Marty G. What will I be doing now? I actually want to show you guys some of the euro dollar trades I've been taking. I've been I've been screaming to short this thing to the ground because of this accumulation right here. Now, I had one short that got stopped out. Well, actually two, after actually taking PTs. So let's go over this. What did we actually do? Oh, Step on beat. Thank you very much for the T1 subscription to the Marty G. Marty G, have fun watching all of our clips, man. We have a lot of them. So we have the 10SKs. We have, you know, regular price action movies. We have origins. We have a lot in the stuff. Thank you very much, man, for helping the community forward. So what I was looking for on euro dollar here was we had this previous accumulation, right? This is some other nuance. We have this previous accumulation block. Now we lost it, but we re-achieved it. Now remember this, because this comes back soon. If you achieve previous origins, you want to hold it. If you do not hold previous origins or failures that made us go down, that would mean it's a bearish thing to do. This move here, you guys should probably know what kind of move it is, especially after watching Skinner. What's the name of this move? It's very simple. It's an F to F. Meaning it's actually a failure to a failure move. Okay, why is this a failure to a failure move, you might ask? Because that's a question I always used to have, and the reason is very simple. So let me dumb it down into two simple rules. You have to look at what failure did we achieve in the move up. The failure I'm now pointing at right here, right? Now, if we achieve it, remember, you do not want to lose it, okay? Now, what happens if we lose it? That's what failure to failure is all about. If you lose the high range failure, you're going to the bottom side failure. Boom, 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 ding, 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 ding. Do you get it? What did we have? We moved up, we came back down, and what I always like to do is I like to mark the high levels of the range. After marking the high levels of the range, I go to the lower time frame. Let's go to the lower time frame. Of course, I'm now looking at previous price action, but I will soon go to my trades. They just started to go down, go down, go down. Here you had your option to short. How did you get your option to short? Look for a bottom side rejections. You had a few bottom side rejections. Here I might have just market smashed if I was around. Now, what happens then? What you should remember, now we're trading on a 3-minute. We have a definite plan of our environmental structure. Now, what do I mean with the environmental structure? It's very, very simple, right? So we know this is something every one of you should do before they trade. They should look at the environment. What have we done? We have achieved previous origins. After achieving previous origins, what do you want to do? You want to hold the high range and pump. If you do not pump from there, what's the highest probability trade to go to? Your highest probability trade to go to will be the failure / the origin of the move that brought us there. Whenever you're scalping these ranges, your NPT should always be the low range of an origin, right? So that should have been your NPT. We went down. Now, maybe one more tip for you guys. One more tip. It's not always the low that you want to sweep. It's the low, you go up, and you make a zone from the highest wick, well, the second lowest wick to the low. This is the liquidation zone. Both these will count as the same thing, right? When I'm creating my algorithm, and well, when I was creating my algorithm, I never look at the low alone. What do I look at? I look at the low and the high of the low. Sometimes there's even a small discrepancy. Let me explain to you. Sometimes you have like a red candle a little bit higher, then it will take the red candle. If the red candle is a lot higher, it will not take the red candle. Okay, so this is your zone. The moment you do this and you have you actually have your PT at the low and you don't get filled, market smash out. Take your PT, because it did what we had to do. It did the failure to failure move, and after doing the failure to failure move, we're done with the move, right? We can accumulate again. What was I looking for trades? I actually took this one, the high range here, this one. This is one I took yesterday, and then we came back down to here. What I looked for then is a bottom side rejection. So then I was looking for more trades there. So let's see, where was it? Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, there. Then I took this one, the last one. So this one, this, and then I called it a day. So these were the ones I took. Then I went to bed. Now let's revamp to today, right? Let's revamp to today. So how did I trade today? So I had yesterday, every day before I start my trading day or every day before I go to bed, what we did afterwards, or what I wanted us to do, is I wanted us to start going down. So this morning, let me quickly check my journal. What I was looking for today was I wanted them to sweep, because this accumulation took way too long. What did we actually do? Remember, what do you want to do? You want to go up the failure. So this is the move. This is the failure. This is your origin right there. We already swept it. So you want to sweep the sweep of the origin. That's what we already did. What did we then do? You swept the origin. Remember, what do you get then? Failure to failure move. So where is your target? Your target is at the previous origin right there of this move. Now, everything is starting to consolidate, right? After consolidation, you get expansion. If you still cannot go up, you're getting the same thing over and over again. The methodology of me this morning was, well, we didn't really do anything last night. Here is where I took my trade. 9:30 this morning, we were actually sweeping high ranges, again sweeping the origin. So what did I do? I was a little bit too late. Well, I have to go to the 1 minute. Let's replay mode it so I can find it a lot easier. I marked the origin right here. So this was the origin for me. This was the failure. And I actually smashed it a little bit lower. I smashed it on this red candle. I smashed it 0.5 stop loss. And I took my PT right there at the previous origin. Actually, a little bit higher. I front run it. There we go. That was my first trade of the day. Now, tell me that this is not systematic, because I explained to you step by step how you can find these trades as well. Now, after that, in my evening preparation card, I told myself, this thing has to go down now. If we do not go down now, what will happen? Right? It's very simple. We are now at the origin. We're sweeping origins. We cannot go down, so we have to take liquidity out of the market before we can actually go down. So what I did was I actually shorted the high. I always love to ladder into origins, because remember, This brings us back to the 10SK. Let me go to the 50-minute and explain it like that. You have a rectangle, right? This is your 10SK. What do you want? You have the high range of the 10SK, but you also have the mid range of the 10SK, right? So what I did was sometimes they just reject the mid and they don't sweep the high. So what I do is I put a 0.5 risk trade at the mid and a 0.5 risk at the high. My stop loss on the lower end trade will be a little bit worse, and my R will be worse as well. And then let's fast forward to what happened. There you go is the mid, there you go is the high, and there you go is your move down, right? All we had to do was sweep the highs again and then move down. Now, did I know that we would move down from there? No, of course not. But I knew I was gone. I wanted to take the trade. And if I was around back then, I would have probably looked a lot at the lower time frames after an alert popped. But this is how you should look for trades. No, I wasn't around for the 1 minute setup, but if you check my evening preparation card, Sungu, you will see that I was actually looking for high range 1.8 failure all the way when I had this short still. Because what you want, guys, and now you can actually see it, if something goes down and it's meant to go down, it will go down, right? If you're right, you're probably right quite quick. If you're wrong, like I was with these shorts, you probably want to take a little bit of extra profits at the lows because you want continuation. If you're not getting continuation, you're probably going to fail the trade, okay? Now, I don't tell you guys to close everything. I made this rule for myself. I never close anything more than 20% until we finally break range. Because one of the rules I have for January, I was actually getting worse and worse and worse with holding my trades longer. Now, let me ask you guys one more question. We swept previous origins, right? We went back down, swept it again. Now we swept it again. There is another nuance into all of this, okay? I'm diving a little bit deeper, so for the people that may not be able to follow, save this date. You can come back anytime you want to the VODs. But let's get a little bit more cheeky into the advanced price action. So we actually swept all of the origins of these moves, right? So this range is literally done. Now, what's a rule is, well, okay, you should look to the left. We swept this origin. This was the origin move that brought us to there. We then swept it again, but this is already done. So you should then ask yourself, which origin did we not sweep yet? Because remember, if trend shifts from the upside to the downside, you always want to make new lows. If we're in an uptrend, you always want to make new highs. So what you're basically always doing is you're sweeping origins. So the rule from me right now, one of my bigger PTs, is actually right there. Little bit before. As I said, this is the red. So the red one for me is the origin. This is the regular low. Let's go to the lower time frame and show you guys. This is the low. This is your origin. And this is your liquidation zone. Okay? So that's the way that you want to look at it. You always want to look one back, one back, one back. Easy. Okay? Easy mode. So those are the trades I took on euro dollar. I think I kind of did a good explanation there. So it took me quite a while to figure this stuff out, but I hope it will help some of you guys. I still use this stuff, so yeah. If you guys still don't understand whatever I'm doing, just go over it again, watch it out, watch it again and again and again, and eventually you'll get it. But it's important to know that you do have to give everything you're doing names, right? Now, let's turn this one around. And there you go. We initiated the move. We want to achieve 1.6. Achieve your 1.6. And what are you probably going to get? Maybe one more retest. Personally, I do not want it. I only want them to reject this one and come back down. Now, why do I only want them to reject this? There's a simple explanation for it. Think about it. I taught this to you 10 minutes ago. This bottom side here now has become a block, right? It's a block. So why do I want them to reject the bottom side and not dabble into it? because I just taught you guys another rule. Indeed, Klaya, good job. If you go to the midpoint of it, you're up for a higher low into the squeeze. So are you guys kind of seeing how all of this fits together? There you go. So that's what you now want. You want them to go up, but you want them to reject the bottom side, not head into the midpoint. Okay, I have a question. Does news pump dump you up as well? No. News, I don't watch the news. News just accelerates price action, my man. Scholar, I have two questions. Sometimes I look at 1 min if there's no red wick. How can we determine the origin? If there's no red wick, you're just waiting for a red wick to happen. Now, you know what? Since I'm in a good mood, let me help you one more time. Let me think. Where did I... Oh yeah, we had it on euro dollar today. Here. If you do not have an origin, it's a pump to dump. If you cannot create an origin and create a trend, it's just gonna be going down again. Boo. He's spilling the beans. Man, the only reason I'm spilling the beans is because, you know, for me this is stuff that's normal. It's decent stuff. I expect people to know this, right? I want people to know this. This is just regular price action. There is a lot more behind after this. So yeah. So I hope that responds to your question. Look, here you have it as well. Well, this is kind of the origin, right? So you go up. This is your origin. Now, I wanted to explain you guys something else as well. You go up. This is your origin, but this is your failure, right? Why is this the failure? It's because this move made us achieve the previous 10 escape, right? Don't forget that. Now, in this case, it did not abide the rules of holding the top and going to the bottom. It did a little bit, but they got rejected immediately again at the block of the failure that made us go down, right there, right? But then again, when I'm taking this trade and I'm revising this in my journal, I would say I'm an idiot to take this long. Do you know why? The reason why you're an idiot if you take this trade is because you do not understand your environment. Now, what do I mean with not understanding your environment? This brings me back again 5 minutes where I explained if you have a failure that you're achieving, you want to hold a high range of it. If you cannot hold a high range of a previous achieved accumulation, what are you gonna get? You're gonna get a move down to the other failure. And that rule already breaks this trade. So anyone that took this trade should write in their journal that they're wrong. Indeed, it was a failure to failure. And yeah, sure, you need to know a lot of rules in trading. But yeah, I'm kind of spilling some, so you guys should just mix them all together. Even though I think right now I've given you guys more than enough to create your own trading plan. How do you explain in your words this move? Oh, sure. So this is on euro dollar 1 minute. It's very easy, man. Now, Mr. RRR. So you're asking me, how do you explain this move, right? Now, let's dive into details on this move, but there's a big but. And I know a lot of you guys make this mistake because I made that mistake as well. So let's go to higher time frames. Let's say this is the low. Let's mark out the low and look at this. This is something, let's say 80% of you guys probably don't even know when you're looking at this trade. This low is actually the 4-hour low. We're accumulating. We go up. And what do? Remember, what's your origin of this move? It's this. What did we do? Did we achieve it? We achieved it. What does the rules of the 10SK tell us? You want to buy the low after achieving the high. But this is the but I wanted to tell you guys. If you're gonna just do this on the 1 minute, man, you're gonna lose money, because if you're only trading on the 1 minute, it's totally wrong. Now, we had a small coincidence that the 4-hour to the left was actually the same as this line, although you should have probably not taken it. Okay? Because this was the 4-hour low, we went down and had a big buy up. This might have been the play. That's the only way that I can explain it. But you do need to look at your higher time frames. Like most of these trades that I took as well, like the market smash, let me look for it right here. The only reason I took it was basically based on the 1 hour. Yes, the 1 hour. One of the rules that I have is I always check at least the 1 hour before I take a trade on the 1 minute. Because if you do not have an idea on the 1 hour, how are you even going to trade the 1 minute? And what you should do right now, you're taking a trade on the 1 hour, always keep your 20% for your 1 hour target. Take that into your trading plan as well, right? So where is our target? Let's move up. This is an accumulation as well. What's the failure that made us go down? This failure right here. What's the midpoint of it? Right there. So that could have been 1 PT, but your NPT should be there. So that's 9R and this is 5R. I'm trying to stay on 1 hour for FX, but should look for 50 minutes. No. So you should not vampies. Okay, here's another rule. Do not combine the 1 hour with the 50 minute. It's not gonna work. 1 hour and 50 minutes, the discrepancy between the two is not enough. If you want to trade the 50 minute, you should at least use the 4 hour in terms of higher time frames. 50 minute works with 4 hour, 3 minute works with 1 hour or lower, and the 1 hour works with the 1 day. So if you're seeing a setup on the 1 day, use the 1 hour. If you're seeing a setup on the 1 hour, use the 3 minute. If you're seeing a setup on the 4 hour, use the 50 minute, sorry. Could you take a look at XRP? Yeah, man, I'll take a look at it for you, no problem. Long sol from 8.2 range. Let me quickly check that so I can give this guy a high five. Whoa, 8.2. What? Okay, for a second there, I wanted to give you like a high five, but I thought you took the trade all the way back in the previous bull market. I was like, what? Did this really go to 8.2? Congratulations, man. Good job. Why is that? It's because let's say, okay, let's go to the 4 hour, to the 1 hour. And now let's go to the 50 minute. The environment doesn't change that much, right? While if you go from the 1 hour and let's say, let me quickly look for it. Move up, origin, sweep. Let's go back here. And you go to like the 3 minute, at least there's something to look at. If you then go to the 50 minute, there's almost nothing to look at. You're not achieving, you're not doing anything. So it's very hard to take these plays. Well, if you're going lower, 3 minute, 1 minute, there's a lot more stuff to work with. What do you see? There's an origin right here that we might be able to play. What did we do? Failure sweep. So what can you look for? Origin. I don't know if they went there. Let's see. All they did here was make a new low, so that could have been enough as well. Because remember, here was a new low. This was a low that brought us up on the failure. If you just sweep a failure or sweep an origin, you did what you had to do, right? So if you, let's say you took the short, you go down and you see this candle, you better take some market smash PT because you're probably gonna get wrecked again, okay? Because you took out a failure, well, in this case, an origin, sorry, a failure, not an origin. This is the origin. So what do you want to do next is you want to take out the other failure, failure to failure. That way you can always remember where should your NPT be. Always at origins and failures, okay? Why is 50 minute bad for 1 hour? I think I explained that. I'm not sure if that's a question from above still. But it's basically because the progression that the 50 minute gives in correlation to the 1 hour is not good enough. Okay guys, let's get back to trading. If you guys have any trading questions, any pre-A questions or whatever is on your mind, feel free to let me know and I will be helping you guys with price action as I'm feeling very nice today. Let's see if we can spice this session up a little bit more.
Q&A section will continue in part 2. If you don't want to miss this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.